It's a pleasure to be here this evening. Very moving for me. In the late 60s, years ago, when I was 21, I was standing in the road by the I was standing in the car by the empty road, looking out over the sands of Israel's Negev desert, with my hand held out, hoping to hitch a ride to Jerusalem, when an army jeep stopped for me. The driver, somewhere in his early 40s, stripped to the waist in the scorching heat, bronzed like a true Middle Easterner, gave me the usual Israeli grilling as to who I was and where I came from. When he heard my name and that I was from Scotland, his face lit up. "Don't tell me your father is Rabbi Gottlieb. He saved my life. I came to this country on a special transport from Vienna. His was the name on the certificate that with Eichmann's, got me out." To return, however, to the 21-year-old hitching a ride in the 60s. When I realized I was facing one of the children my father helped save, I was overcome with emotion. For the rest of the ride, I was unable to say anything. Never entered my mind that I might even interrogate this person, give an interview a la Yad Vashem or something, and find out how his life and my father's intersected, in what context, how, what actually happened, or even to find out the guy's name. No, nothing like that. I just basked in the glow that I'd met this person. When this apparition dropped me off, he disappeared out of my life like some mirage in the shimmering desert heat. My father was still alive at that time, and would be for the next 16 years, but I never questioned him about this. Days after the Nazi takeover of Austria, in March 1938, Adolf Eichmann headed for Vienna. He had been sent there with one charge from Berlin, especially with one charge and one charge only: the destruction of Austrian Jewry through emigration, a euphemism for forced mass expulsion, uprooting a centuries-old historic Jewish community. All Jewish institutions were shut immediately, including schools, and the leadership and those prominent in Jewish life were arrested. Jewish children, threatened with bullying and humiliation by teachers and classmates alike, were frightened to attend the state schools and had no place to go. Aimlessly, they roamed the streets, where they were also subject to violence. Faced with his own pupils' desperation, Rabbi Gottlieb came up with the idea of proposing to the new authorities, Eichmann, that they start a radically new kind of institution, at least for Vienna, a school for emigration, Aliyah. While the Nazis used emigration as a means to decimate this older Jewish community, the motivation behind Rabbi Gottlieb's proposal was for Jewish young people to plant new roots in a land historically our own, a desire and objective that have been part of our Jewish daily prayers for more than 2,000 years, irrespective of persecution from the Nazis or any other source. What in German has a very negative connotation, Auswanderung, in Hebrew denotes promotion and elevation, Aliyah, going up, ascent. The proposal that came to Eichmann from Rabbi Gottlieb to his immediate superior, Dr. Joseph Lowenherz, head of the IKG, and from Lowenherz via Rabbi Benjamin Marmelstein, infamous for being the subject of Claude Lanzmann's documentary, The Last of the Unjust, 2013, who was able to broach the subject with Eichmann directly. He was called Eichmann's rabbi. The proposal to open a school focused on emigration must have arrived as a godsend for Eichmann. According to the whispered accounts that got back to Rabbi Gottlieb, Dr. Marmelstein stuttered when he made the request which he and the entire Jewish community wanted so much for their youthful charges. Eichmann replied with brutal sarcasm, "Herr Marmelstein, stop mumbling, and speak up." Nevertheless, bully though he was, Eichmann approved the proposal. Rabbi Gottlieb's qualifications were reviewed and his name confirmed as director of the project. But it was he who had the brainwave of obtaining Nazi approval for starting what came to be the Aliyah school of Vienna. And it was he who put in place the infrastructure that was instrumental in the saving of hundreds and possibly thousands of Jewish young people. At least in Rabbi Gottlieb's day, the school was never disturbed by Nazi violence. Not only were children afforded some protection within those classrooms to concentrate on their studies, but they were led to believe that they would even have a future. Rabbi Dr. Wolf Gottlieb was born on March 10, 1910 in Zwaborov, Stanislav, Galicia. The young Vulchu, that means little wolf, he was called Vulchu by his parents, was regarded as the spiritual Eloi, or intellectual, devoting his days to Jewish learning and to playing the violin. When his violin teacher recommended he devote more time to his music and make it his life's work, he gave it up completely, occupying himself with Torah learning instead. But every evening in Vienna, as in the shtetl, at 6 p.m. precisely, he would leave his Beit Midrash, his small shtibel of prayer, to play football with the boys in the street. Wolf Gottlieb prepared for his high school graduation through private tuition. His tutor in German was his sister Annie, his favorite of all his siblings, because of her love of poetry and literature, her intelligence and her heart. With her, he read the German classics, Heine, Goethe, Schiller, and then he read them with me, in German. It's the only German I know. Rabbi Gottlieb studied in the University of Vienna without having attended school. While sitting in on general lectures, he made his intellectual base the Viennese Israelitische Theologische Lehranstalt, a seminary famed for producing a wonderful blend of rabbis and teachers who combined Torah scholarship, specifically Jewish law, with an appreciation not only of the literary aspects of Bible, Talmud, Agadah, Midrash, Kabbalah, and all, but also an openness to the wisdom of the nations and to the German Enlightenment. By the age of 19, Rabbi Gottlieb had already become the officiating rabbi of two Polish Galicianer Stieblach in the 10th district of Vienna.